Hey Spring Arbor students, how are you today? We're coming to the close of Module 2 in our MBA 600 class, and so I just wanted to spend a few minutes here going over some things. Make sure you read the syllabus and note the due dates for closing out Module 2 here in early October. From a writing perspective, a research perspective, you should be closing in on Chapter 3, with a Chapter 3 draft at this point. So make sure you're doing that. And by the way, the notes that I'm reading from here will be attached to the email that I sent to you with this announcement. So if you don't get all this down, don't write it down. You don't have to. It'll be in the notes. Listen, I know that some of you are running a little bit behind schedule, but don't worry. I think there's still time to catch up. And I think I've talked to most of you and have sent some emails to others who I haven't heard from. So at this point, here's what needs to be done over the next week or so as we close out Module 2 and we get ready to start Module 3. First, this week focus on completing a good draft of Chapters 1, 2, and 3, the proposal. A good solid draft of those chapters is due in Blackboard by midnight on Sunday, October the 11th. That's not tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 4th. So you got 1 week from tomorrow, Sunday, October the 11th, to complete a good draft of Chapters 1, 2, and 3, the proposal. Now let me just help clarify what I mean by a good draft. Here's generally what I'm looking for. Explanation of your topic must be pretty good, must be solid. That's in Chapter 1. Your theoretical framework in Chapter 1 has to make sense. You have to have some narrative to support that framework. You can't just list the figure and hang it out there in space and leave it alone. Put some narrative around it. Your research question needs to be finalized and backed up with some research that says, hey, this is a topic that's worth exploring or a question that's worth exploring. Your lit review in Chapter 2 needs to be mostly complete and again in narrative form, not bulleted. Okay. Your methodology description in Chapter 3 has to be pretty much getting close to being done, which means including an explanation of why you've chosen either qualitative or quantitative, and that you've explained how you will collect data, you've explained how you're going to analyze the data, and your reference list at the end, it should be complete. It may still have some formatting errors in it, and that's okay at this point. And you should have some appendices attached after the references, the reference section. The appendices, for example, will include a copy of your informed consent and the questionnaire, if you're doing a quantitative survey, or the interview protocol if you're using a qualitative method. Those should be in the appendices at the end. Now, I know I said earlier that I would start deducting for mechanics and fluency in October, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a relief here, okay? Make sure that by the end of October, when we start submitting and getting ready for closing out Module 3, which is coming up, that'll be near the end of October into early November. At that point, your writing's got to be pretty solid in terms of mechanics and fluency. The format should be all set or close to being set for Chapters 1, 2, and 3. Make sure that when you submit your proposal, Chapters 1, 2, and 3, up into Blackboard on Sunday the 11th, make sure it's in a single MS Word file, and don't put each chapter in separate files. It just makes it really confusing. Follow the naming guidelines in the syllabus. It's on page 15. Focus on, for next Sunday the 11th by midnight, focus on good, solid content for your submission. Okay, so the second thing that needs to be done between now and next Sunday at midnight is for you to fill out your plan for submission to the IRB. There's going to be a file attached, or there will be a file attached at the bottom of the email that has this announcement going out. And it's a spreadsheet, it's an Excel spreadsheet. That spreadsheet needs to be completed by you and sent back to me by email no later than midnight on Sunday, October the 11th. Again, that's a week from tomorrow. So same as the upload date for Chapters 1, 2, and 3. Here's what that document has in it. It is the plan for you to complete the chapters and get on to submitting. And I'm going to let you define the dates that you want to do that by. So when you see the file, open it up. It's a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet. I've organized all of your names on a grid showing the major milestones across the top of the paper that will get you to an IRB submission and a final version of your proposal, chapters 1, 2, and 3. So take a look at it. Find your name, and there's some yellowed cells there. Find your name and put the dates underneath each milestone that you expect to complete that milestone. If you believe you have already completed a milestone, just type in the word done underneath that milestone for your name. So save the document and then send it back to me. So what I'm going to get back is a spreadsheet with everyone's names in it, but just your name filled out for your plan. What I'll do is I'll take everyone's spreadsheets and combine them together, so I've got one master plan, if you will. And I'm going to forward that on to Ina so that she knows where we're at, where each person is at, and how we're doing, and when we expect to submit the IRB for the IRB process. That'll give the IRB committee a little bit of a chance to plan the workload that's coming their way. Again, your plan is due back to me by midnight on Sunday, October the 11th, same as those chapters 1, 2, and 3. Let's talk about the peer review for just a minute. After next Sunday's submission of chapters 1, 2, and 3 to Blackboard, focus on that right now, okay, along with the plan. Then begin the peer review process. Here's what I'd like to do. I've updated the groups at the bottom of the notes section that will be attached to the announcement. I've updated those groups compared to last time in Module 1 and mixed everyone up a little bit, so take a look at that table. Next Sunday, on the 11th, after you submit chapters 1, 2, and 3 up to Blackboard, and after you've submitted your plan by emailing it back to me, then start the peer review process. You have until Sunday, midnight, October the 18th, okay, so a whole week beyond the 11th, to read and review and comment on each other's works in the groups that I assign to you. So take this seriously, okay? I expect good feedback about each other's work. If the paper you're reviewing is excelling in a certain area, point it out. If the paper is lacking, point it out. This really isn't a graded exercise other than just making sure you do it. So help each other out and provide some critical response at a time whenever we all need each other's feedback on, does this make sense? How is the research going? Talk about the writing content. Help your fellow classmate out. Send an email to me after you review the papers in your group, and then I'll update the grade in Blackboard myself. Okay? This is on the honor system, so if you tell me you've read other people's papers in your group, then I'm going to believe you. Be sure to send me an email indicating that you have in fact read other stuff. Okay. Remember, I'm available by email or Zoom most any evenings and weekends for you guys. So take advantage of that if you need to. Have a great week.